Hello, welcome to the channel. My name's Pete. This is the Facebook Bandit scam. I feel as though I was scammed with this bike. I know a lot of people think I haven't, but I bought a bike that was knackered. I was overcharged for it really, and I didn't know enough about it, and I ended up getting stung. I paid 900 quid for this bike. I dread to think how much I've spent trying to get this bike running. I bought it in September 24. It's now June, and I've done a total of 567 miles on this bike, and I did get it running for a while, but it wasn't running right, so it came off the road, and I've had a mate help me with a load of stuff. I've done loads to it. I've probably spent at least 500 so far for 1400 quid for a Bandit. It's now run out of MOT, so I have to get that sorted out. We haven't got a lot left to do. If you want to know what I've done to this bike, go back and look at the other episodes. But we're going for the home run here. Got this video to make, and maybe another one, I don't know, just got to see how it goes. But let's have a look at the bike. Here we go, Blue Bandit. We've done fork oil, headlamp, sorted the wiring out. One of these was broken, so I've had to fix that. New engine cover, new worm, new handlebars, new switch gear on both sides. I had to swap the electrics for this switch gear because the ones on the new switch gear didn't work, so I had to put the old switch gear electrics on. New grips, bar ends, clutch perch, clutch lever, brake lever. If you're wondering what they are, those are cameras, and that's a sat nav. I got that as a promotional thing. It's really good actually. There's a link in the description if you want one. I would recommend you do get one. A lot cheaper than a phone. It Bluetooths to your phone, so you can have your phone in your top pocket or your bag hooked up to a permanent battery pack. Anyway, cables, rebuilt the carbs more than once, new under tray, exhaust, footrest, lever, pedal, hell cables at the front. I've had a new front tyre put on it. That was probably the single biggest purchase, the front tyre, because I think that was about 130 quid fitted. And I'm sure some other bits. But now we've got these on, the bike starts up and it runs. I'm going to warm the bike up. I've got it hooked up to an auxiliary tank here, because this is what we're doing next, look. Synchronising the carbs. My friend's been kind enough to lend me this, but it's brand new, he's never used it. So I'm going to have to assemble this and get it hooked up to the bike. So we'll check that out. I'll get it all sorted out. I'll get that put up. I'll get the bike warmed up. We'll start it up and we'll see how easy it is to calibrate the carbs on a 4-cylinder motorcycle. Never done this. Never in a million years would I have thought I was going to be doing this. But I'll get on with it. It needs doing. I've warned my mechanic because there's another job to do. All these have been threaded in there and there, and this one as well, so I might as well just replace that one too. So I need them doing. The mechanic guy can only do that once I've got the bike running and I can ride it down there. It's only round the corner, so I'll get this done. Right, I'll get them things set up and I'll show you where I'm at shortly. Right, so I've got these assembled, but what you might notice is this needle on all of them. They're slightly different from each other, so I now need to set these. And I do that with that little screw in there because I've noticed these come off, and that screw must turn this needle so that I can align them all, like this one here, that's in the bang centre, so that's exactly where I want the rest. So I've got that calibrated to each other. I've got it hooked up next to the bike as well, ready to go. I need to warm the bike up first, but it does look as technical as fuck. Jesus, what am I doing? So here we go. So I've calibrated all these to each other. It might look difficult on camera because you have to do it absolutely square on with each individual one. I've got my auxiliary tank hooked up and some fuel ready to go. We're not connected on any of these just yet, because what I plan to do is connect this end one and get a reading, and then do the same with all of these to that end there, to see how well they are with each other. Once I've done that, I'll be able to connect it up, take the rubber nodules off, 2, 3, connect these pipes up to there, and then in there is my screw for this side, which I believe you do this side first. This is pot 4, this side, and then in there at this side, and then there's a screw down there which will then calibrate all 4 together. So I'll get the bike warmed up and we'll see how far out from each other they are. What I didn't tell you is I've bench calibrated them when I had it all apart. I couldn't do it accurately, but I could get it near enough, so I say near enough, proof's in the pudding, isn't it? Right, let me get this bike started and warmed up. I've got the bike started up, as you can hear. It's been running for about 10 minutes now, we're getting warmed up nicely. I've been setting the rev screw thing, I've forgotten what it's called, comment please. I've been setting that, chokes off. We're basically ready to go. So I now need to connect this up to this. What I've learned, I've read the instructions and it says it wants the choke open, which and you might get a bit of vibration and feathering on those. What we shouldn't get is crazy spinning. I've been through and I've tested them all individually. So that connects onto there, watch that, look. Shouldn't do that. Put choke on. With the choke on, it keeps a nice steady needle for me to be able to align them all. So I'm going to get some earplugs and I'm going to sort this out now. I'll let you know how it goes. Right, okay. So I definitely had to do it with the choke on. Every video that I've seen has done it with the choke off. But for me, when I do that, these vibrate just far too much. But even when the choke's on, they're still feathering a little bit. So I've aimed for sort of like the top, the bottom and the middle on each of them all. So that they kind of line up. I'll just start it without choke because it's warm. You see what I mean, look? Look how much they're going around. Now if I give it some choke, I was doing it with my earplugs on. Now the camera won't pick up what I'm seeing exactly. I've got it pretty close there. Somebody will probably comment saying number 1 looks as though it's bouncing or out of kilt, or number 4. It could be the camera distorting it. But to me, with the eye, looking at them square on, each individual one, bang on, they're all lined up. I can't believe I've balanced some carbs. How long did that take? Well, in all reality, you lot have been telling me for months to do that. So months. But once I actually got hooked up and started it, probably about 10 or 15 minutes to balance those. That's in neutral, not on a rolling road, not doing every gear. Somebody has been by who works as a mechanic, who was talking to me, he said he used to get them on a rolling road and do them for each gear with carbs. I don't know if that's true or not, maybe you can tell me. But far out, man, that's so close. Let's have a look at the bike. So I've decided to get a fly screen for that front there, just to tidy that up a little bit, because that's what we look like. I just think it needs something to cover all this here. So I've got one coming. It was only 11 quid off eBay. The horn, I would really love a train horn on this. There's no regulations on how loud horns can be on motorcycles. Grease salt frame up. I mean, literally the next thing for me to do is put petrol tank on, get some fuel in it, get the fairing loosely attached so I can get it down to that block and get these things sorted out. All 6 of them bolts, I might as well replace them all. Then they're all done, aren't they? Because I mean, that, although that one works, it's still a bit scratchy inside. I don't know what these are like. Oh, they're alright because they're part of that metal work under there, I think. It looks like they've got a nut welded on the back of there, but they're okay. So these aluminium ones, guy's threaded them when he's tried to put a rack on. So thanks to my pal for lending me the carb synchronising kit. Bike assemble. So with those carbs done, I've put the tank on the bike and I've put the fairing back on one side at the rear because I've had to have the brake light on in order to ride it to go get the bolts done. But look. A rough old Bandit. Shape again. I'll show you around the other side because I haven't got fairing on there. It's pretty scratched up and damaged, like. But I can tell you what needs doing. These bolts here, one there and one for the tank, for the fairing. They all need redoing, rethreading, all these drilling out and those rivet studs being put back in. For the bolts, I'm off to go see him now. See if I can take it down there next week. But what I have got to do is sort out this back brake pedal because it is not switching on the rear brakes light switch when I do it. But I seem to think this might be permanently on. I think I've done it the wrong way around. I'm not certain. I'll take that off and I will have a look at that. That'll be the next job. It's been a couple of days since I've worked on the Bandit. Just stuff gets in the way, doesn't it? And time. So the rear brake light isn't coming on when I did the rear brake pedal. So I've taken the bulb out so I can see a bit clearly. Which is easily done. It's just 2 screws here. And then pop it out. So I'm going to switch the ignition on and lights. So as you can see, it comes on. I'm going to pull the rear brake pedal and it should have a second light that comes on, and it doesn't. So I'm going to pull the front brake lever and it still doesn't come on. The wires on the bulb are connected still, but I think the bulb's broken. I've had it before. Hold on one moment. I don't know if you can see in there that both sides are still connected up, but I've had a bulb like that before on a bike and it's not worked, and I've replaced it and then it's worked again. So I'm thinking there's something wrong with the bulb, but that lever is too low, so I need to adjust this up a little bit as well, which it looks like I do it with these here. So I'm going to have a look at that and see if I can get that in a better position. It's a couple of hours before shop's open to get that bulb, and then I'll come back and try it. I just thought before I start buggering about with that brake pedal, is people pointed out to me that the rear brake caliper has 2 nipples for bleeding, so I'm going to bleed the other side now. I'd not done it previously, so I've got this reservoir top off so I can see what's going on, and we've got hooked up down there so I can bleed this. It might actually change the position of this lever, and we can see it's going through there, and it feels fairly consistent. I've got no air coming through, and down there. So what I'll end up doing is going back and forth and doing that. Of course, tightening the nipple up as I'm going along. I've done that and I've rebled the other side as well. I need to top the reservoir up. I've got some .4 there for it. But the wheel spins. But the brake pads seem to be stuck on the disc. It does work when I push the brake pedal, when there's no spin in it. I mean, they're just like millimetres off, is that right? I don't know. I'm going to have to do some further investigations on that. And I need to get this bulb for here. I'll get that done. I've been and got a bulb. Now I'm going to put the lights on. Oops, let's put key in first. Switch ignition on. You can see all the lights at the front work, and my rear lights come on. But watch when I push the front brake. That works. But when I do the rear brake, dead. Now, I've been down here and fiddling around, so that switch isn't getting triggered by this brake lever. So I need to take this off and have a look behind there and get that so that it triggers. I need to figure it out. That will be in the next episode, where we'll get that back brake sorted out. Also, the next episode, we'll take it down to the garage, we'll get all those bolts replaced, we'll get the bike back together, and we'll get it MOT ready. What I am thinking of doing is getting another bike to work on. I've really enjoyed doing this. If anyone's got a bike knocking around, it's got to be a complete one. Can't be too knackered. Get in touch, let me know. There's an email in my descriptions. Get in touch with me, let me know. Maybe we can work something out. Better still, if you want one to get rid of and giving it away, let me know. I'll hire a van and I'll come and pick it up. But I've really enjoyed this so far. This is where we're at now. Hopefully we'll get it MOT'd soon. Please like, share, subscribe. Buy me a coffee from the link down below. It's much appreciated, and I'll see you in the next one.